In this video, you'll learn 10 things poor people do that the rich don't. Have you ever asked yourself what actually separates the rich and the poor? How is it that two people with the same 24 hours in the day can have entirely different financial lives? Well, it all comes down to how they approach their day. So here are 10 things poor people do that you should avoid if you don't want to be one too. But before we dive in, please take a moment to like this video and hit the subscribe button if you are new to the channel. Now that we're all set, let's jump right into these habits. Number 1, over-consuming media. Rich and poor people spend their free time in very different ways. Less fortunate individuals are more likely to spend hours watching TV, playing video games, and scrolling through social media, all of which saps your motivation and decreases your productivity. For many poor people, their free time is a chance to turn off their brains. But wealthier people don't view their free time in the same way. Instead of watching TV or playing video games, wealthier people are more likely to practice mentally restorative activities like reading and journaling. They don't want to turn off their brains, but inspire and energize their brains using educational and motivational habits. So, why do rich and poor people spend their free time so differently? Access to educational and motivational resources is often limited for lower-income individuals. For example, many people below the poverty line cannot afford higher education, which decreases the odds of engaging with intellectual activities in their daily lives. This is only one of many factors that affect how people of different statuses use their free time. In other words, it's not as simple as poor people are lazy and rich people aren't. In fact, that's rarely ever the case. More often, wealthier people have access to educational and cultural resources that lead to healthier lifestyle choices. Less fortunate people, on the other hand, look for activities to fill their time and distract them from personal hardships, because in many cases, they are never taught anything different. Number 2, prioritizing comfort over abundance. Financial risk-taking is one major reason why many poor people stay poor, and many rich people get richer. Life is full of opportunities to find success, make money, and climb the social ladder, but each of those opportunities requires some degree of risk. Rich people are more likely to take those risks and reap the rewards, while poor people are more likely to stay in their comfort zones. At some level, it's a matter of grit and self-determination. Rich people are more willing to put their money on the line and take leaps into the unknown, but that's only part of the picture. Rich people are more likely to take big risks, but they also have a safety net to fall back on. It's much easier to take a financial risk when you know that one failure will not destroy your life. For example, if a rich person loses thousands of dollars on a bad investment, they may regret their losses, but their lifestyle will not be affected in any major way. If a poor person takes the same risk, they may not be able to pay their rent or buy groceries, which impacts their ability to meet basic survival needs. Number 3, relying on low-quality information. Rich and poor people commonly gather information from different places. Lower-income individuals rely primarily on social media and television to learn about the world and understand new subjects. Unfortunately, these media sources deliver narrow, often biased streams of information, which does not give people a full understanding of what is happening or why. Because they gather most of their information from controlled media, many poor people maintain underdeveloped or narrow-minded views of current events and popular subjects. Wealthier people, on the other hand, are more likely to gather information outside of public media. They may access journals, books, and other lengthier sources of information, which effectively broaden their horizons and increase their understanding of the subject. It takes more time to read a book than it does to scroll through a dozen headlines, but gathering knowledge the old-fashioned way yields a fuller understanding of almost any subject. Fortunately, another effective way to gather information is to watch YouTube, especially this channel, and if you want to avoid missing any of the valuable tips I'll be sharing in upcoming videos, make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. Number 4, spending carelessly. In comparison to the wealthiest individuals, poor people are less likely to keep track of their money. They may have a loose idea of what they make and what they spend, but they may not actively control their finances. As a result, many poor people waste money on things that negatively impact their wellness. Rich people, on the other hand, understand where every dollar of their money is going and why. They use apps and asset managers to control their investments. They move their money into the right places, and they keep track of trends in the market. Often, they are able to multiply their finances by carefully monitoring every penny. Paying bills is a common example. Wealthy people always stay on top of their expenses and they never miss a payment date. So it's very rare for them to rack up interest or fall into debt. Less fortunate people, on the other hand, are more likely to fall behind on their credit card bills or mismanage their spending. It's important to consider the context of these common financial mistakes. Many less fortunate people have very little access to financial information at home, at work, or at school. Early on, wealthier people are given strategies to manipulate financial systems, but poor people may not have learned how these systems work. To make matters worse, many financial systems are designed to take advantage of less knowledgeable people. So, if you want to learn the money skills that school didn't teach you, I actually created a money course that will give you the foundation and teach you the money principles that school failed to teach you. And all you have to do to get access to the videos is become a full member of the channel, which costs only $39, and it comes with a great time management course. And once you're done with the course, you can choose to cancel the membership or continue supporting the channel. Number 5, overlooking small opportunities. There's a common misconception that poor people live empty lives with too much time on their hands, but that simply isn't true. Most poor people are very busy, leaving few opportunities for hobbies, passions, and healthy habits. Because of their busy schedules, many poor people feel like they have no time to spend on personal goals or self-improvement. Wealthy people may work just as many hours, but they use structured routines to find small windows of productivity throughout the day. Even if you only find an hour of free time every day, this critical window, when used effectively, can yield real long-term change. But unless you build a structure into your daily routine, you may never notice how much spare time you really have. Number 6, valuing hours over output. Rich and poor people quantify their productivity in different ways. A poor person may judge the productivity of their work by the number of hours they invested. Most low-income jobs are paid by the hour. So many poor people use the hours they worked to assess the quality of their workday. Rich people know that time and productivity are not directly correlated. That's why wealthy people, who often have salaried positions, view their productivity in terms of goals or tasks that they have accomplished. Instead of saying, "I worked 8 hours today," they might say, "I finished 2 projects," or "I met all my daily goals." This small change in mindset allows wealthier people to keep better track of the progress they're making. Not only does it give them a clearer image of what they're doing, but it helps them figure out what they need to do next.